Yo, friends, what is up? Happy New Year. I think this is Stell's Espresso Blend. I got it dialed. So good. Anyways, welcome. So, I have a very special episode. We had talked, last week I talked about kind of being president and some of the other stuff I'm working on for the new year. Wanted to say it, I was just thinking about, gratitude, stuff like that. Wait, before I get in this, we do have some stuff coming up. I'm kind of still efforting a couple things. Wanted to give it a week. We got some stuff planned for the Open, got some exciting news coming. Just hold on, right? So, preface there. So not too many announcements this week. I feel like it's been an announcement fest, so kind of wanted to take a step back. But anyways, back to my point. I've thought about some gratitude stuff, and obviously, I've been very grateful for all that you guys do and all that you do for me and my family. And the support has been awesome. And those of you guys that watch these videos, and the response has always been good. And it's been good for me. It's just been cathartic to be able to get some of the stuff out. I think it's been helpful. It's opened up some conversations, which is what I would hope it would do. But today, what I wanted to talk about, very special episode, is Road Back to Health. So when I talked to, when we originally had started everything, and I wanted to do these videos, kind of keep everyone up to date on things, not only with me personally, but with the gym as a collective, we had talked about some health stuff that I went through, and I wanted to give it a full year, and I wanted to get kind of test results and all this stuff out of the way before I dove too deep into it. And we had talked about nutrition, and how I'd kind of taken it too far in one direction, as far as like almost leaning and weaning it down so far that I was just depleted. And this is all part of this as well. And trying to come to terms with my own mental struggles with weight, and with that it's really just about being healthy. It's not about aesthetics, or performance even, it's about health, and trying to come to terms with that. And one thing I realized, and not that I ever did this at a very high level, but I think some of it too for me, and I was listening to a podcast with a cyclist that I follow, and they had talked about it, and a lot of cyclists, a lot of long distance runners struggle with a lot of eating disorders, and it's mainly because so much of their sport is built around being light, right? That shit, man. If you're in the Tour de France and you got 21 stages, every stage is 120 miles. If you're pulling around an extra 10 pounds, that's a lot, And I think growing up in that culture, racing kind of probably played some tricks on me a little bit. But there was a famous cyclist last year in the Tour de France who had put on 15 kilos, which is a lot. It's like 28 pounds. And his performance went through the roof. Because he essentially was so depleted that he wasn't able to perform. So just, talking through some of this stuff and trying to get better and trying to better understand. So I made some nutritional switches, increased some volume of food, increased some fats. But the main thing that I was having trouble with, and I've talked with some of you guys about this, but not everyone, is dealing with some emotional stuff, some irritability, some libido issues, just all kinds of weirdness. And it kind of came to a head about a year ago, about this time, January, December. And Ashley, my wife, who's a saint, just pretty much was like, dude, you got to figure this shit out. So went to the doctor, without getting too deep in the weeds. In someone my age, mid 40s, and it's odd because there's a wide range, right? So, and this is all under the watchful eye of my primary physician, my doctor, is testosterone levels in someone my age are somewhere between 300 and like 800, and it's like micrograms per deciliter. And I might be getting this wrong, but anyways, it's just for the sake of this conversation, 300 to 800, give or take. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. Mine was 47. So low. And what this can lead to is fogginess, fatigue. Mine represented a lot in irritability, along with massive health concerns. So that being said, once we figured this out, we then spent about the next 3 months just like ruling things out. So they had thought that potentially there could be something wrong with my pituitary gland. I could have had a tumor. I could have had something that was causing it not to produce anything. So went and got a bunch of CT scans and ultrasounds and whatnots, ruled that out, which was good. They also thought there was something wrong with my liver. Ruled that out. That was good. So, and over the course of those first 3 months, so this is January, February, March into April, I'd probably given blood 13 times in 3 months. Like, it was legit, like every 2 weeks, I was some type of test. We then made the evaluation that I needed to be on TRT, so testosterone replacement therapy, because there was nothing else. My hormones were so out of whack, and some of this is genetics, some of it is hereditary, some of it is my physique, you know, the way I train, some of it just, it's a bad roll of the dice. So, we started out in consultation with my primary care physician, Dr. Walter Jones, shout out. Very, very slowly. So we started with a very small amount, and every month I would do a full blood panel, and I would go back and we'd talk about it, we evaluate. One thing I really liked about him is we never really talked about what the levels were up until this last appointment a year ago, or 2 weeks ago. We had never talked about levels. We just talked about, how are you feeling? How are things going? Blah, blah, blah. We slowly increased a little bit, and we found what he thought was going to be a sweet spot. And we continued with that regimen from July, August into December. I've noticed a massive improvement in my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my son, hopefully with my relationship with you guys. It's one of those things, like they say, you know, you're foggy, and I'm like, I'm not foggy. And then you come out of it and you're like, holy shit. I've noticed like my neurons, like I'm firing a little quicker. I'm more eager to do things, you know. And that's where my fatigue was representing. I was like, I'm not fatigued. I show up at 4 a.m. every day. I'm a gamer. But where my fatigue was representing is on like the weekends, for instance. And my wife's like, hey, let's go to the beach. And I was like, ugh, right? Why would you want to do that? Let's just sit here. And so I definitely felt much better. And then we did another very insane full blood panel. Like, I gave a lot of blood. And got those results back middle of December, had our appointment, sat down, went through everything, and it all looks good. Levels are back to normal. I don't have any tumors or cancer or anything, which was good, because for a while there it was weird when I was having ultrasounds and CT scans in my head. So that's one thing I'm extremely grateful for and just excited for about 2025 is being on this path, you know. And I wanted to share that with you guys because it's important for me, for you to kind of understand where I'm at, but also you know, there's stigmas around this stuff, you know, and there's a misunderstanding of what really it is, whether it's testosterone or whatever, you know. It's not, once again, full circle, tie everything together. It's about health. It's about being healthy, you know, and, you know, like we had talked about months ago, I had been so restrictive with my nutrition that I became unhealthy, right? You might have looked at me and been like, man, that guy's pretty jacked, but I was insanely unhealthy, you know. In the same way, it's like, just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. You know, I know a lot of really unhealthy people that are very skinny, right? So I think that's another thing I'm going to try and work on this year, is really just focusing in on wellness and health, mentally, physically, emotionally, all that stuff. But if you guys ever need help with this stuff, or if you have questions, or if you've been struggling with anything, I want you to feel like you can reach out anytime. But I really appreciate you guys staying with me. Hopefully you stayed through the end of the video. Like and subscribe. I just like to say that because I think it's funny. And we'll see you at the box. And I hope you have an awesome week. And stay tuned. Thanks, guys. Deuces.